Welcome back to the Becoming MindStrong podcast. In an earlier episode, we talked about how one of the things I love most about macros is that there's no restriction. I am never going to tell you this is a food that you can never eat again. This is a food that you have to eat. I am not here to change your grocery list. I'm here to teach you to eat the foods you love in the right proportions, and you never have to touch the foods that you don't love. So, in that earlier episode, we talked about how to hit your macros if you're vegetarian or vegan. One of the other common dietary restrictions that we get in our world of Ignite is gluten-free. So by popular demand, I wanted to make an episode just for my gluten-free peeps out there and talk about how to hit your macros when you're gluten-free. Check it out. If you are brand new to our world, to macro tracking, essentially, if we were to describe macro tracking in a nutshell, we give you your quote unquote budget, and it is so uber personalized to the individual. Do not use online macro calculators. If you want to know why, go download 3 of them. You'll be more confused than when you started. They are not personalized enough for anyone. Hard stop, period, especially if you are in menopause. This has to be incredibly personalized, where your body is right now, what your goals look like, and then we do not jump from A to C. We baby step your body there. I have tons of past episodes on how macros work, how to get your body from where it is to where it needs to be. For the purposes of this conversation, once we know your personal budget, meaning for your personal body, you need X amount of calories. From there, we're going to take those calories, we're going to divide them down into your macronutrients, meaning how many carbs, how much fat, how much protein does your personal body need, and those macronutrients add up to your total calories. Again, if you're listening to this and your eyes are glazing over and you have no idea what I'm talking about, go listen to a plethora of my past episodes where we have an intro to macros. There's a 2-part series earlier on. We really get deep in the weeds about what macros are and why they're the most sustainable approach to nutrition. For the purposes of this conversation, getting back on track, once you know your budget, so my body needs this many calories, this many grams of carbs, this many grams of fat, this many grams of protein. The beauty of macros, to go back to what I said in the intro, is I am never going to tell you, suck it up, buttercup. You can never have this food again. You have to eat these foods. I'm never going to write out a meal plan for you because that sounds great in theory, but it doesn't actually work, right? If it did, none of us would be here. There's no such thing as good food, bad food, allowed food, not allowed food. We think in terms of these foods are more nutritious. We want to eat them the majority of the time. And we want to leave room for those less nutritious, more fun foods so we don't cave and binge and go down the rabbit hole. So in an earlier episode, we talked about how to hit your protein specifically if you're vegan or vegetarian. One of the other big questions that we get inside Ignite, our 12-week program, is what if I'm gluten-free? What if I can't have gluten, whether it's, I've never seen personal preference, it's usually a dietary restriction for a health issue. And the answer is absolutely. Because what we are never going to do is change your shopping list. It's about learning to hit your macros, learning to stay within your budget according to what foods, not only that you like and don't like, but what foods can your body tolerate, right? If you're dairy free, if you can't handle lactose, in no world would I tell you, suck it up, buttercup, go chug your milk, right? That'd be terrible. And it's the same thing here. If your body cannot handle gluten, we're not going to eat gluten. We're going to learn to hit our macros eating the foods that we love and that our body can handle. Real quickly, if you need some help with protein, one of my favorite guides that I have out there is called 8 Ways to Add Protein to Meals You're Already Eating, and it even includes a whole bunch of vegan and vegetarian options. You can go to mindstrongfitness.com/protein guide, or just use the link in the comments below to grab your copy. Now, let's get back to the episode. So obviously, if we're talking about gluten, typically it's not an issue of how do I get enough protein or how do I get enough fat. We are talking primarily about carbs. Now, I'm going to do my darndest to not go down a rabbit hole right now about carbs. I have a lot of past episodes specifically about carbs and menopause. To date, not saying she's not out there. To date, after doing this for over 3,000 women, I personally have never met a menopausal woman who is successfully losing weight without carbs. I have an earlier episode that is all about why you need carbs to lose weight. In menopause, it is nearly impossible, and I'm only saying the word nearly to be politically correct. I want to say it's impossible, but maybe there's an outlier out there. We are living in a body where, as our estrogen drops, our cortisol spikes. Carbs are our body's natural energy source. We need carbs to control cortisol, to control blood sugar, to lose weight in menopause. Now, we can get carbs without gluten. What it means, if you come into Ignite and you learn your macro plan, and we're learning what I call the game of Tetris, how do I eat the foods I love while staying within my budget? Well, the only thing that's going to change for us is we're going to take a look at what carb sources can my body handle, right? What we're not going to go eat is bread and pasta and all the carbs that are filled with gluten that our body can't handle. Instead, we're going to look at things like rice, maybe brown rice, maybe jasmine rice, maybe basmati rice. Every time I do this, I feel like Forrest Gump with my fried shrimp, my grilled shrimp. Any type of rice that is a gluten-free carb source. We can look at things like potatoes, whether that's white potatoes or sweet potatoes. We can look at quinoa. I love quinoa. Quinoa is nutrient packed and it's an excellent source of carbs. You can look at things like beans and lentils and chickpeas. In the vegan and vegetarian episode, we talked about the fact that what I love about those carbs specifically lentils and chickpeas, is that they also have a lot of protein in them in addition to being carb sources. Things like fruits and veggies, they are fantastic sources of carbs. Fruit gets a bad rap because, yes, it has sugar. It is not the same sugar as Lucky Charms. We need our fruit. Fruit has a lot of fiber. Fruit has a lot of vitamins and minerals. It's an excellent gluten-free carb source. Vegetables are carbs. When people come to me and they're like, I don't need carbs, and then they start telling me what they're eating, it's veggies. Guess what? Veggies are a carb, right? There's lots of powders out there, lots of flours out there, spelt flour, buckwheat flour. These are all gluten-free. So we have lots of options when it comes to how to quote unquote spend our carb budget. Nothing else is going to change. Your macro plan is going to be figured out the same way. We're going to flow with your body's tendencies the same way. We're going to hit our fat and protein the same way. The only thing that's going to change is as we're picking out carb sources to hit our carb goal, we're going to be looking for those gluten-free carbs. So with that, if I'm going to just bullet point a lot of what I just said, and if you're taking notes and want to write this down, we've got rice, we've got potatoes, we've got quinoa, we've got beans, we've got lentils, we've got chickpeas, we've got fruits, we've got vegetables, we've got flours like spelt, we've got flours like buckwheat. There are many more than that, but the intention of this is to give you an idea that it is 100% possible. At the end of the day, the reason it's possible is because there is no such thing as you have to eat this food, you can't eat this food. It's about, okay, let's look at what foods your body can handle, and let's learn how to play the game of Tetris, how to eat the foods I love in the right proportions to stay within my budget. And that's true whether you're vegan, whether you're vegetarian, whether you're carnivore, whether you're pescatarian, or whether you're gluten-free. For more information on MindStrong Fitness or to apply for a free one-to-one strategy session with my incredible all-female team, visit www.mindstrongfitness.com.